man says, "Thanks, Tom. I really have to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Because you were right about single mothers. I am 42, but mercifully have never married. Over the past few months, I have been dating a 29-year-old single mother, a gorgeous but chunky Hispanic woman, and everything seemed okay at first. I had told her on our first date that I was just dating, that I wanted no commitments, and she said she agreed. But then we got hot and heavy, and she was incredible. During our discussions, she told me she wanted to become a public school teacher to take advantage of those great home buying programs they have today. At first, she had a job and was in school to become a teacher. But as we started dating, the job and school mysteriously ended with no clear explanation. Meantime, she started really pushing me for sex, like no woman I'd ever met, while talking about how she hoped to have another baby in the future, and what a nice guy I was. She even went so far as to tell me about her other friends with benefits she claimed she had somewhere, to entice me to bang her or lose her. I could feel my penis recoiling from all of this. I finally had to tell her that I did not want kids. She took pity on me, but she wouldn't go away. During our very last phone conversation, she suggested I give up my current college teaching job to go work in the public schools myself, to take advantage of those wonderful home buying options. She laughed at me when I told her I didn't want to teach in the public schools. This killed it for me. Earlier, she hadn't been talking about her college and career plans, but the plan she had for me. I politely said goodnight and hung up the phone. This was 2 weeks ago. During this critical time, I have been listening to you, Tom, and it really opened my eyes to the games some women play. My conclusion is that most single mothers are dream killers for men, not concerned with anything you want from life, only themselves. Ultimately, I was wise to avoid hopping into bed with her. I nearly made the biggest damn mistake of my life. You saved me. Thanks for your help, Dad. It's signed Dan from San Jose. Dan, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to bail you out in situations like that. You hear me talk about these issues on the air, and hopefully a little piece of that sticks. And ultimately, when you get into one of the situations we talk about, somehow you'll be able to reference what you've heard in the past and then act appropriately. Dumping that bitch was the appropriate move. Had you continued to have sex with her, I can assure you, she'd have gotten you to have sex without a condom one night, or the condom would have leaked or slipped off, or she would have forgotten to take her birth control if she was taking any to begin with. Then you'd have to be looking at those home buying options, and you'd have to be looking at shoveling a lot of your money in her direction. That is what you would have to do. So I'm glad we served that purpose for you. I'm glad we bailed you out. Now, you know, I hear these stories from guys literally all the time. Whenever I'm in public, Dean, you've been with me to all the hockey games, the Laker games. You've seen the number of people who come up to me and tell me stories like this one. That in one way or another, stuff I have said on the air has resulted in people bailing on these goddamn dream killers. It's totally amazing. And the stories are inspiring. I know they would probably piss some people off because there's probably people who think this guy should have continued with his girl. Should have had sex with her. Should have had a baby with her. Should have bought a house with her. But no. Boys, your dream comes first. And remember, when she wants you to do things, it's her dream that comes first. She doesn't care about your dream. In fact, her secret wish in most cases is that you never attain your dream, so you can never trade up. The 29-year-old, gorgeous but chunky Hispanic woman never wants you to trade up to the thin, beautifully proportioned 21-year-old Hispanic woman who's waiting around the corner the minute you get promoted. She doesn't want that happening. So she's going to make sure that you stay right at the level where you are, making lateral moves, coming home on time for dinner every night, and that's it. It's not just Hispanic women, it's all women. Are there exceptions? Yes, I have to say that every time because you morons will call and go, I'm not like that. So what? But I know this program has prevented thousands of bad situations from developing for guys. Guys got out of situations where some goddamn dream killer was coming in for the kill, or some chick who what she really wanted was to get her hands on your wallet. She wanted you to impregnate her, and you were one grunt away from doing it, and then you found your balls and pulled out in time. I know there's a lot of that out there. So, boys, that's what I want from you this hour. Doesn't have to do necessarily with having a baby or working at a college like the guy who wrote the letter, but have you had these broads try to chisel their way into your life? Did something we said here change your mind? Did our show prevent you from making the biggest mistake of your life?
Tom Leykis.
Tom Leykis?
Leykis.
Leykis!
1-800-5800-TOM.
I respect you as a god. I'm going to live the rest of my adulthood under your rules.
Thank you. I am firm but fair.
The Tom Leykis Show.
It's the Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Earl. Hello.
Hey, what's up, Tom?
Not much, Earl.
How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm always doing terrific, man. Always doing terrific.
Great.
Back when I was a kid, man, when I was like 18 years old, sure enough, I got suckered in by an older chick, man. A single mom, too. And unfortunately, I didn't hear you back then, but I had a friend of mine who was older in the years. He was about 40 years old. Who actually took me under his wing, but I wouldn't listen to the damn guy. And unfortunately, I got sucked in. She said, don't worry about the condom thing. Don't worry about the condom thing. What happened? Got pregnant. So now I'm freaking out. I'm 18 years old. Got a 26-year-old pregnant. She's already got 2 kids. So I'm saying, what the hell am I going to do? So I go to my friend of mine, and he tells me, he says, whatever you can do, get her to freaking hate you. I'm like, what do you mean, get her to hate me? He says, get her to hate you. Tell her that you don't want your seed in her nasty skink body. You know, he says, tell her that you can't stand her. Tell her, whatever you can do. He says, just tell her that you hate her. So this goes around for, I don't know, about a week or 2, maybe 3. And finally, after just putting this freaking whore down consistently, day after day, telling me, oh, no, it's my body, you can't do anything, you can't make me do anything. She finally goes out and gets an abortion, man.
Oh, great.
What? I'll talk about a lift off my head. But when you guys were talking about this, Tom, I was thinking, man, if I would have had you back then, but luckily I had a buddy of mine who kind of, helped me out, an older guy,
Yeah.
who knew the ways of the world. Not to a young, stupid greenback like I was back then.
Too bad he didn't tell you not to have sex with a single mother.
Oh, well, and always use a Jimmy, too.
Right.
I mean, God, any guy who's out there listening right now, man, never, don't wear, try to go bareback. You put it straight, you put that raincoat on every single time, no matter what.
That's right.
And make sure it's coming fresh out of your wallet. Not out of her drawer, because it can have a hole in it, okay? Make sure it's coming fresh out of your wallet, that you're unwrapping it, and you're the one who's doing it, because them girls, they are sneaky as hell.
No doubt about it, Earl. Thank you for that. Heather on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello?
Is that a question or a statement?
Tom?
Did you want to talk to Tom?
Yeah, Tom, I had a question for you.
Yes.
You're always telling the guys on the show that they shouldn't get with chicks with kids and stuff like that, but I had a kid really early and got married super early.
Why'd you do that?
Because I couldn't take care of the baby myself.
Why did you get pregnant?
Because I was a dumb kid.
Oh, I'll buy that.
Yeah. All the ladies listening, birth control, no matter what.
Uh-huh.
But I was wondering, you're always telling everyone not to get with chicks with kids, but if I'm unhappy, should I stay in my relationship just because I can't get with someone else, or is there hope for me?
But first of all, you will get with someone else because, even in the best radio markets, at most we have 10% of the audience. So there's plenty of guys out there listening to other stations.
Uh-huh.
So...
Oh, so I can only get guys from other stations? What if I want a Tom listener?
Well, I tell the guys not to date single mothers.
So I'm basically screwed on that front?
On that front.
On that front.
So you might...
There's no hope for me unless I'm listening like easy listening station or something like that.
Or, maybe one of the few remaining guys who listens to Dave Shelley and Chainsaw. One of the few remaining guys under 45 who listens.
Under 45.
Right.
Sucks.
Yeah. How old were you when you had that little crumb cruncher, dear? Can you hear me? Guess we lost her. Oh, well. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Chris on the Tom Leykis Show.
Tom, how are you, Tom?
Doing okay, Chris.
All right. Well, I wanted to tell you thank you so much because exactly what you said. You told me that a woman who doesn't use birth control, you should never be with her. And I was having a hard time giving this girl up. I was having a hard time, saying no to her. And she says, oh, well, you can wear a condom, but I'm just not going to use birth control. And, maybe I'll use a diaphragm. And then she got a yeast infection. I said, you know what? This isn't worth it. And it was exactly what you said, which made me realize that I should get out of this relationship.
Yeah. Look out for the girls who say they're allergic to latex. And then they're allergic to every other form of birth control there is, even though none of them have anything in common.
Yeah.
Like the pill and a cervical cap have nothing to do with each other. There are women who are just allergic to preventing pregnancies. That's what they're allergic to.
Yeah. And, Tom, let me add one more thing. What she said was also, I don't believe in abortions, which, hey, I respect. But you know what? Now you're making the choice for me, too.
Well, pretty much you know where she's coming from. When she doesn't believe in abortion and doesn't use birth control, that equals someone who wants to have a baby.
Yeah, yeah. I agree, and she works in that field, so I knew it. And I said, you know what, I got to stop it. And as much as I didn't want to, and I didn't think in the past I wouldn't have done it. In the past I couldn't have done it. I was too, But I after a few years and then listening to you, I realized, exactly from what you said, that's what inspired me to stop it. So I just want to thank you for that.
I'm proud, Chris. Thank you for that. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Kimberly on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi.
I'm not calling up to say I'm the single mother exception, but I just wanted to get your opinion on this. So I'm 31 and I'm a single mom. I got married at the age of 25. My husband was 29, and when I was 28, he passed away in a car accident. So, at the time we had a 6-month-old. So, I've been on my own for several years now, and I'm just kind of getting ready to date again, and I have a good job, and I support myself, and I know that, you know, I've met through a support group, there are other women like me. So, you know, in your view, is a woman in that sort of situation still like hands-off policy?
Well,
or?
for me, because your priority, and I'm not saying it shouldn't be your priority, but your priority is your kid.
Right.
And so I always would take a back seat to your kid. And that means if you can't find a babysitter, if you can't find a nanny, if the daycare center lets out at the wrong time, whatever, if I need to be with you, I don't get what I need.
I guess, yes. I mean, it would take someone who is open to being in a situation with someone who has a child, but I guess I don't, you know, I guess I sort of take umbrage to the portrayal of all single mothers being kind of just ready to quit their job and
Well, I'm not saying they're all ready to quit their job, but they all, at the very least, one thing they all have in common, they all have their kid as their priority.
Of course.
Well, guess what? If I'm in a relationship, I want to be the center of attention.
Okay, and that's fine because you've definitely made the decision that you don't want to have children and
Right.
share that sort of attention. But, you know, I guess I'm not quite in agreement that you should counsel completely across the board that, you know, you shouldn't date single women.
No, single mothers, dear.
I'm sorry, single mothers.
Should not date single mothers because single mothers, at the very least, have other priorities than the guy. And on top of that, you know, let's face it, if a single mother accidentally gets pregnant, I think she is more likely to want to give birth than somebody who doesn't have any children at all.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess a single mother who's kind of aware of the challenges of being a single mother, if she is out there dating, should be taking the precautions necessary.
And if, as you know, there's no perfect form of birth control.
No, certainly
And if
not.
one fails, a single mother is more likely to have the baby.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, I guess. But
Right. Well, that's why I recommend not doing it. Not being with somebody who's a single mother. Now, again, as I told the earlier caller, you know, there are plenty of guys who do not listen to the Tom Leykis Show out there for you. But those who listen, they get the advantage of knowing what they're in for if they get with a single mother.
Okay, I guess, you know...
You yourself know one of the reasons you haven't dated, besides going to support groups and dealing with your situation, is a lack of time. You have a lack of free time.
Well, it's also just been, I mean, it's not the easiest thing to get over. And
I understand that.
Move on.
But even once you have, you know, moved on, as best you can, you will still be short of free time. So let's say here I am, Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky. I live in a 4-story house by myself. Live alone. No kids. No nothing. Let's say I'm dating you. And I called you, and one day your kid has the sniffles. Another day you can't find a babysitter. Then after the kid goes to sleep, you don't want me to come over there because the kid might wake up. I mean, I've been through this. I've done it. I know what it's like.
Yes, yeah, for sure. I mean,
and I'm not saying you shouldn't put your kid first. I think your kid is important. But what's that doing for me?
Yep, and I don't take issue with that at all. I guess the dialogue that I've heard on the show is that don't date single moms because they're just trying to get your money.
Well, that's one of many reasons. And by the way, I never said all women who are single mothers like this. I never used the word all.
Oh, I understand.
But you know what? When guys are trying to get laid, they don't sit there and hash this out in their minds and look rationally at it. They look at what you look like naked. And they make their judgment based on that.
Yep.
And so it would be foolish for me to tell guys to do this on a case-by-case basis. Because what ends up happening for them is too many of them are going to make the mistake I'm talking about here.
Yep. All right, well, I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't, you know, only because a single mom is after a guy's wallet.
We have a list of reasons. Does it make you feel better?
Not really, but I guess you heard my side of the story.
I did, Kimberly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM. Here is Jason on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello, Jason.
Hi, Tom.
What's up?
Dude, you saved my life 3 times.
3 times?
What? I messed up. I had a kid at 17, And I was such a pussy with this chick, my mom made me start listening to your show.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Then I moved in with a chick, and I'm kicking her out. And then I ended up trying to let a single mother with 3 kids move into my house.
No.
But I was listening to your show 2 weeks ago, and there was a guy named Jason, as a matter of fact. So you were talking about letting some single mom move in is giving up your dreams. And that woke me up, and I kicked her to the curb, too.
Good for you.
Tom, you're a genius, man.
Jason,
you're a freaking genius.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. I'm proud of you for following that advice, and I'm glad it's working for you. Eddie on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom, how you doing?
I'm okay, Eddie.
Good. I remember about a month ago you were talking about prenuptial agreements.
Yes.
You saved my life and my family's life.
Do tell.
About a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I've been going out with this girl for about a year and a half, all the intentions of marrying her. I come from a pretty wealthy family. Not afraid to admit a lot of my money comes from my family, real estate dealings and stuff. And I have brothers and sisters. We're all kind of involved. And, you know, she comes from a working-class family, working-class background, not very much money. Took her out to dinner one evening, and I didn't know how to break it to her without sounding like a complete a-hole regarding having a prenuptial sign. My grandparents and parents were really, you know, pushing this for me. And so we were talking about stuff, and I brought it up. And how I got out of it is I said, you know, I don't trust attorneys, lawyers, or arbitrators regarding my funds or my family's funds. It's not fair to any of my siblings if something goes wrong with us and they might lose some of their things as far as monetary value. She started freaking out in the restaurant, caused a scene. I don't need you for your effing money, and going on and on. Makes me look like a complete jerk. Goes home that night. Her father calls me up. You know, chews me out.
Chews you out?
Oh, chews me out that I'm leading her on, this and that. You know, her brothers, I know her brothers, and they're freaking out, and we kind of all run in the same group.
Right.
Anyway, 2 days later, I find out from a mutual friend of ours that she's going to try to smooth things over with me and still get me to proceed with her about marrying her. And wait a few years, and down the line, if something happens, she might take action against it. Luckily, I found out. So about 3 days later, she's calling me every day up until a week ago to try to smooth things over with me. And I finally just said, you know what? I know what you're up to. F off. Don't ever want to hear from you again. And that's it. So I just wanted to call and thank you that you just truly saved me from a complete heartache.
Eddie, I am very proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the call.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM.
Well, break it down for me.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-866.
You have that same disease that most women have, okay? You have selective hearing.
I probably do. I like to hear what I want to hear.
I understand that.
The Tom Leykis Show.
It's the Tom Leykis Show from Los Angeles at 1-800-5800-TOM. And we're talking about men whose lives I have saved. At 1-800-5800-TOM. This is Montrell on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, what up, Tom? How you doing, buddy?
Doing okay, Montrell?
Hey, man, Tom, I started listening to you maybe about, 2 years ago, and I tell you, man, you're the best thing that's ever happened to me, man. I got all the homies in the hood listening to you, man.
Love that.
Everybody always talking about, yeah, man, 3 o'clock turn on Tom Leykis. We be just, man, we just love your show, man.
Thank you.
I'm going to tell you, man, I wasn't really dating this chick, but, I was talking to her. I had other chicks on the side. But, I'm a young college student, so, the chick was older. So, I met her. She started inviting me over to her house, She got the nice house. I used to just go up there, just kick my shoes off, just watch TV, smoke a little pot in her house, and just chill. But she started telling me stuff like, yeah, this is perfect, and when you like to come home to this every night, and you need to start seriously thinking about what you want to do with your life. You need to have a girlfriend and need to settle down. So I'm like, whatever. I never used to pay too much attention to that time, but she started going through my cell phone and started getting mad when she would see other chicks call me on my call log. But, I don't care. You're not my girlfriend. So she just started, just trying to getting real too close to me, telling me, I don't like having sex with condoms. I never did. So, we need to stop having sex with condoms and all that. But, I did listen to you somewhat, Tom, I didn't listen to you with dating single women, but, I listened to you about, make sure I always use that protection, Tom. And I got to tell you, brother, I made sure I use that protection. And I'm telling you, I hit it one time last week, and after that, I haven't called this lady or nothing, Tom. She called me like every night, Tom, and I send my phone straight to ignore mode. I got to thank you so much, man.
Good for you, Montrell. I'm proud of you.
Man, hey, Tom, can you do a big favor for me and the homies at work? Take us out with a big bong rip and Kobe Bryant style, baby.
Here you go, Montrell.
This is about us. She's so special to me. Yeah, it beats in my heart. Yeah, the air I breathe. She's so special to me.
1-800-5800-TOM. It's Amber on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. I unfortunately missed the opening statements of your conversation about why men should stay away from single mothers, but I gather it's basically because you think we're after your money, we're more likely to keep the baby if we get pregnant, and we can't give our 100% attention to you. Is that correct?
All three are good reasons not to date single mothers, and that doesn't mean that all three apply to all single mothers.
No, absolutely not. But I definitely think that the statement isn't true, because unless you have the Tom Leykis syndrome, which most men very might well, I think that dating a single mother would be perfect, because I am a single mother, and I know if I got pregnant again, there's no way in hell I'd keep the baby.
Well, that's you, dear.
Because
that's you.
A lot of single mothers feel that way. If you're already a single mother, why the hell would you want to be a single mother of two?
Well, let's put it this way. If you were stupid enough to give birth the first time, why wouldn't you do it again?
Because what if you were in a committed relationship the first time and you thought that this was the person that you wanted to start your family with?
Yeah, but you see, you might decide that about another guy too.
Well, I think if you're a single mother and you got divorced or broken up the first time, why would you have a child with the person that you're not married with the second time unless you're just...
well, dear, if you haven't noticed the number of women who say, I have 3 kids by 3 different fathers these days, there's lots of them.
Well, yeah, maybe because you're coming out of Los Angeles and there's probably a whole...
No, dear. We're on in over 50 radio markets. We're on in Dallas. We're on in Chicago. We're on in Portland. We're on in lots of places.
Okay, let's go.
So it has nothing to do with Los Angeles.
Well, it also has to do with...
By the way, if you don't believe me, watch the Jerry Springer Show, the Maury Povich Show, or any other daytime talk show. Maury Povich comes from...
Widen your television horizons, my friend. You're looking at the...
There, again, these are the shows where they do the DNA testing on the air, and you see one slut after another going out there like human Xerox machines, pressing the print button every couple of years, cranking out new models all the time.
Well, wouldn't you want to rephrase your situation to you should maybe get to know the single mother before you get with her? Or why would you just say,
because we're in the hit it and quit it club, dear. We don't have time to get to know you and figure out whether you're one of the good ones. No.
So wouldn't the same go for single fathers then? Just no for single fathers?
Fine. Don't date single fathers. That did no skin off my nose. Less competition for me. Less competition for me. I'll tell you what, sure, don't date single fathers. Only date guys who are unmarried like myself. Unmarried, no children.
Because you're good news, right?
I am good news. At least you know what you're getting. I'm totally upfront. You know what you're getting with me.
Well, yeah, that might be the problem.
No, that's the good thing.
I've been listening to you for a couple months now, ever since we got you to here in Phoenix, and every time I listen to you, you infuriate me, and for some reason I listen to you every day.
That's right, because as I always say, treat women like crap, they come back for more.
I guess that's true. Maybe I do need to get with a man that beats me, smacks me around, knocks me up.
I never said to beat you or smack you. All I say is that anybody who says mean things or is unreliable, women just love that. That's why every ex-boyfriend, every ex-husband, they're always a jerk. This guy was a jerk. That guy was a jerk. This guy's a deadbeat. This guy's unreliable. That's what women are attracted to.
So if you're saying single mothers, men shouldn't date them, I'm going to be alone forever. And I am a single mother who, if I got pregnant again, it wouldn't be happening.
Well, fine, but the other reasons still apply.
What's all the other reasons? I'm not after your money.
Your kid is your priority. In a relationship, I want to be front and center. Number one. The center of attention. The center of your world. I don't want to be somebody you squeeze in between breastfeeding sessions or you squeeze in between daycare and dance recitals. I don't want to be that.
Well, there's some guys out there that wouldn't mind because that also...
Well, then they'll date you anyway. But I am telling guys who aren't sure what to do or undecided, you don't want to be with a single mother. And you don't.
Well, I guess you have to win this round, but I definitely am going to keep listening to you every day, and I swear I'm going to get a topic one day that I can win, and I will be calling you back and definitely letting you know how it is.
All right, Em.
Okay. I appreciate your time, and I love your show for some strange reason. I don't know why, though.
Because it's good. It's the Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Did I save your line? David.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes. Hey, Tom. You know, when I was listening to you on, KTAR, you were talking about the immigrants. I totally agree with you on the whole subject.
When was I on KTAR?
Huh?
When was I on KTAR?
I was listening to you about 2 weeks ago.
I was never on KTAR.
You sure?
I am positive.
Well, I know you were back in the 80s. You were on in California. I know that, right?
I'm still in California.
Oh, you're still in California. But I could have sworn it was you on KTAR, Tom Leykis Show, and
No.
and the thing is,
there's no Tom Leykis Show on KTAR.
You sure about that?
I will give you $50,000 of my own cash if you can give me any evidence that the Tom Leykis Show is on KTAR.
Yeah, but I just wanted to talk to you about why are you like this? Why?
Like what?
Because when I talked to other people who knew you back in the 80s, you were clean, you were straight to the point with subjects, but
I'm straight to the point today. You don't think I'm being straight to the point? Saying that women are dream killers and you got to dump that bitch? How much more straight to the point can you get than that?
Well, I don't know. I'm married. I'm a married man, and my wife supports me in every single decision I do, and she's never crushing my dreams,
Sure.
But the thing is, you gotta know, dude, not everybody wants to hear people calling women bitches and hoes.
Well, but then maybe the show's not for you.
I don't know. It's just
maybe you should keep listening to KTAR.
It's like a Howard Stern kind of thing where you
again. Maybe you should be listening to the Mormon sounds of KTAR. You should be over there, put your magic underwear on, go over and listen to KTAR. Maybe that's what you should be doing.
No, it's just. I don't understand why you have to, bash on women all the time like that.
Again, if you don't like the show, KTAR is a perfect station for you. Very old callers, hosts who are older than dirt.
No.
Sure.
I've called in KTAR.
Interminable pregame and postgame shows and baseball games you don't care about. You go over there.
All right, well, you take it easy, Tom.
All right, you too. There you go. Guy listens to KTAR, station owned by the Mormon Church that does talk radio, so you can only imagine. Yes, Dean, it's owned by the Mormon Church, KTAR, through a subsidiary called Bonneville Broadcasting. But it is the Mormon Church, when you get right down to it. Yeah, he thinks our show is kind of rude. Imagine 24-year-old, by the way, 24-year-old who likes listening to KTAR, got to be a Mormon. Nothing wrong with being a Mormon, but let's face facts. KTAR listeners are older than dirt when you can find them. Our email address is my name. It's tom@blowmeuptom.com. That's tom@blowmeuptom.com.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.